that this matter has moved far, far beyond law into matters of deep politics and fundamental values. And I think as we consider both the motion and the issue at hand, every last member of this House might remember some very, very old wisdom. That actually, if any of us says that we never fall short, that we never break a rule, that we never harm someone else, if anyone ever says that, then I'm afraid they deceive themselves and the truth is not within them. So I am very grateful that we live in a society with the possibility of redemption, the possibility of mercy, the possibility that when somebody fulsomely apologises in a spirit of humility going on for some hours, that there is a possibility of redemption. And that, of course, is not to excuse what has been done. That is not to defend it. That is not to condone it. It's not in any way to say that what went on was okay. It would be to accept that it was wrong and nevertheless to forgive. And forgiveness is difficult. No one should pretend otherwise. Now, well, I think she's going to enjoy the rest of my speech, but I will give way to her for a moment.
I thank him for giving way. When we talk about redemption and forgiveness, isn't it at the earliest point possible, rather than drawing things out like the Prime Minister has done? And I think this is his main problem. Had he come here and immediately at least expressed his doubt that maybe he was at something that he didn't consider to be a party, it would be better. But that he denied everything was the main problem that we find in this House so difficult to swallow.
I'm very grateful to her, and I think she will recognise the spirit and the inspiration of what I'm saying, as people did on Tuesday. But I don't wish to be drawn excessively into theology about the timing of one's repentance. But I do wish to move on, because I think the point that I want to make in this moment is that many of us in this House, I can see members in front of me, choose to live their lives under certain commands. To love even their enemies, to bless those who curse them, and yes, to forgive as they are forgiven, sometimes for some grave matters. So when I sat here and listened to my right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, say these words in the House of Commons, which I won't put back on the record, people know what he said, when I read them again in Hansard, I think this is an apology worthy of consideration, of forgiveness for what went on, because this has moved beyond law. As far as I know, no one else in this country is being investigated by the police for retrospective offences. It's gone, it's behind them, it's past. But in number 10 in Downing Street, they are being held to a higher standard. They are being held to a higher standard in ways that other members of the public are not. And I can hear members barracking. The point is that is right. What I demand is that when we set these, I'm sorry, not merely draconian, but barbaric rules on other people, everybody in the centre of power should have understood that they had to obey not merely the letter, but the spirit of the rules. And I'm sorry, there should have been no cake in number 10, no booze in number 10. Well, just one moment, no booze in number 10. These things should not have happened. I do not defend, or I do not condone in any way what happened. And I'm spoiled for choice. I'll give way to the Honourable Lady.
Thank the member for giving way, and I am mesmerised by his psychic powers if he does not understand that all offences are retrospective unless he knows someone's going to commit an offence. But does he not agree with me that to err is human, to forgive is divine, to repeatedly transgress, as this report already shows us, is something else? And isn't it important that we have this inquiry now to understand whether that has happened and whether there has been a repeated offence against us? Because in the last year, half of the public have lost even what little trust they had in politicians. The longer this goes on, the more repetition there is, all of us are besmirched. Isn't it right, in that spirit of forgiveness and redemption, that we are all given the opportunity for salvation?
Not for the first time, Madam Deputy Speaker. The Honourable Lady tempts me to give her references, and I would encourage her on the point of repeated offences and forgiveness to look at Romans 7. But the point, she does also invite me to clarify what I said. Of course, all offences are retrospective. The point I'm making is that the police are treating Downing Street staff especially harshly in a way that the rest of the public are not being treated. Well, if the gentleman wants to say it's not true, I'll take his intervention.
People up and down this country who've received fines way beyond the measure they're imposing down in one street. He's got to get his facts straight before he stands up and says they've been treated more harshly. That is simply not accurate.
Of course, people up and down the country have been fined and punished and all the rest of it, and he knows perfectly well that I've stood here and complained about those things far more than he has, or anybody over on that side. He knows that perfectly well. The point I'm making is that the police are going back some months to offences committed some time ago in a way that they're not for other people, and I think that is accurate, and I think my honourable friend, the Minister, was nodding along earlier, and indeed she nods again. So, in order to move on, when I sat here and listened to these words, I was deeply moved. For all that I have said, if he broke the law or acquiesced in breaking the law, if he lied at the dispatch box, he must go, I still felt moved to forgive. But I want to be honest to the House and to my voters that that spirit of earnest willingness to forgive lasted about 90 seconds of the 1922 committee, which was its usual, I'm sorry to say, orgy of adulation, a great festival of bombast, and I'm afraid I cannot bear these things. This level of transgression, this level of demand for forgiveness, requires more than an apology, drawing a line under it and moving on in the way that the Prime Minister sought to do overnight with his interviews. I'm afraid the Prime Minister and those who advise him, and I'm sorry to be saying this on the record like this, they need to understand that this is a permanent stone in his shoe. For those of us who want to forgive him, we've got to see permanent contrition and a permanent change of attitude, a permanent acknowledgement that people like my constituent, married for 50 years, didn't get to see his wife in a care home on the 50th wedding anniversary, didn't get to see her, I think, possibly just through a window for her 75th birthday. I've only been married 25 years, but I know what that means to me. What am I to say to that man who didn't see his wife before she died, after 50 years, 75th birthday? What am I to say? Well, I tell you what I could say to him. I could say, because I know who he is, you and I are Christian men, and forgiveness is hard. And I don't like forgiving him. My spirit is much more full of wrath and vengeance. I feel much more Ezekiel 7:3 about this, and I'd invite anybody to look it up. I don't want to forgive him. I do not want to forgive our Prime Minister. The trouble is I like him. And the trouble is I helped him get where he is. I'll come back to that in a moment. And the problem is I am under a command to forgive. So the point I'm making is, and actually I'll talk about what the Right Honourable Gentleman Skye and Lochaber said. When I and others went out of our way not only to make him Prime Minister, but to do our bit, one case, my case, systematically to help get an 80-seat majority, we did not think that he was going to exhibit a meticulous grasp of tedious and boring, minute rules. Of course we didn't. But we did know he had two jobs. He had to get us out of the European Union, which he was fully committed to doing, and he had to defeat the radical leaders of the Labour Party, and he had to do it in an environment where everyone was exhausted, we were testing our constitution to destruction, and the very internal stability of the United Kingdom was at stake. And that's the job we gave him to do, and by goodness, he did do it. And for that I am thankful, and for that he will live with my thanks forever, and he will deserve to be lauded in the history books. But the problem I have now got, having watched what I would say is contrition, beautiful, marvellous contrition, isn't my sense of it, is it rather in a sense only lasted as long as it took to get out of the headmaster's study. And that's not good enough for me, and it's not good enough for my voters. I'm sorry, it's not. And I'm afraid I'm now in a position where I have to acknowledge that if the Prime Minister occupied any other office of senior responsibility, if he was a Secretary of State, if he was a Minister of State, a Parliamentary Under-Secretary, a Permanent Secretary, a Director General, if he was a Chief Executive of a private company or a Board Director, he would be long gone. The reason that he is not long gone is because removing a sitting Prime Minister is an extremely grave matter, and goodness knows people will know I've had something to do with that too. It's an extremely grave matter, an extremely big decision, and it tends to untether history, and all of us should approach such things with reverence and awe and an awareness of the difficulty of doing it and the potential consequences, and that's why I've been tempted to forgive. But I have to say now, the possibility of that really, for me, has gone. I have to say, I'm sorry, that for not obeying the letter and the spirit, and I think we have heard that the Prime Minister did know what the letter was, the Prime Minister now should be long gone. Madam Deputy Speaker, I'll certainly vote for this motion, but really, the Prime Minister should just know the gig's up.
The House will be aware that a great many people wish to speak this afternoon, and if we are to continue the spirit of fairness one to the other, I hope that we'll manage without a time limit. So I'm testing the integrity of honourable members. Please stick to around 5 minutes, and that way everybody will have the chance to participate more or less equally. If it doesn't work, I'll put on a time limit as usual. Where's Carl Turner gone? There you are. Carl Turner.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I intend